Welcome to Post in Black, everyone. My name is David Hunter Jr., and we are here. So excited to have you back with us for season 2 of Post in Black. As you may know, Post in Black is here to highlight post-production professionals of African-American descent who are working behind the scenes in Hollywood and abroad. And today we have a very special episode, a kickoff to our season 2, none other than my brother and the host and founder of Post in Black, Daniel K. Hunter. Daniel, what's going on, man?
Hey, I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I actually just gave you another title. I said you were the host, but you're not actually the host this time.
No, that's all good.
Yeah. Well, man, we're so excited to have you back with us. We're going to do some recap and talk about season 1, talk about how we got even started with Post in Black. But before we do that, you know how we do. We always have an icebreaker. And so icebreaker today that we have for you is a lot of people know about Post in Black. A lot of people know about you a little bit. But if you had an autobiography that would describe your life, what would the title of that autobiography be?
You know, the first thing that comes to mind is Enjoy Life.
Okay.
It's short and sweet. And my friends and family know that's like a mantra that I have. And it's near and dear to my heart because you're going to have peaks and valleys in life. But, you know, in the Black church, they say you don't know the hour nor the day. And so for me, it's like, I always want to try and find like good moments and to try and enjoy every kind of, you know, part of my life, every day, to try and find something in the day, that brings me joy, that kind of lifts my spirits and that can help me help others. And so, yeah, I think Enjoy Life. I like that. It's short.
No, I love it. I mean, obviously we're brothers, so we kind of have a similar mindset when it comes to that. And then even I remember Dad telling us, you know, growing up, he said everybody should be better off for knowing you, and how literally people may look, they're like, man, you seem like Daniel or DJ. They call me DJ. They seem like you guys are always in a good mood. And there's bad stuff that happens. You know what I mean? Every day is not great, but there's something great in every day. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? I say this quote all the time too. It's like, life is not easy, but life, living, being alive is good. You know what I mean? So yeah, I love that. Enjoy life. Well, man, that's a great way to start kicking off this season 2 of Post in Black. Now, you are the founder of Post in Black. You are the creator of it. How did Post in Black come about? If those people who are watching or listening to us do not know.
Yeah, that's a good question. So it started out when I was living in Burbank, California, which is home to Walt Disney and also Warner Brothers and many other like smaller studios. But I was working as a sound editor and sound designer, just getting started. You know, I was 21 years old, and I was fortunate to get the opportunity to go on these studio lots and to actually get firsthand experience seeing big budget studio productions being finished in post-production. And I didn't see a lot of diversity, to be honest. Like I was pretty surprised because, you know, entertainment is quite diverse. But the technical roles back then, this was, you know, 10 years ago, and still to this day, aren't very diverse. And so I wanted to do something. I didn't know what to do. And I thought about how oftentimes if you don't see anyone like you, you don't think it's for you. Yeah. So for example, if you want to go out to a restaurant and you're kind of looking at the menu outside the restaurant and maybe you step inside to put your name on the list, and you don't see anyone of color, it's a little, you know, it's a little jarring.
I mean, to be honest, it happens like that in like sports and places too. Like there's certain neighborhoods or like stores where you say, oh, that's, you know, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's real. Like, oh, that's white people stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's
that's white people. That's not for us, because we just didn't see anybody in there, so we're like, well, that's not for us then.
Exactly, but that's a misnomer. It's like it's not true, you know. And but the way to combat that is to be a lighthouse, right? So it's like if you think about lighthouses and you have ships kind of trying to find their way, they're looking for some guidance, some direction. They're looking for, an anchor to get them back. And I think if you invite people in, that's a way to let them know, like, oh yeah, you can do this. Like, this is for everyone. There's no like rule like in, some book somewhere that says like, no, you have to come from a certain background, or you have to look a certain way. You have to talk a certain way. You have to have certain credentials in order to do XYZ. And at least, in post. And so it's also like, I think, a great entry point into the business. If you want to be an actor, if you want to be a director, one way to get started is to do something behind the scenes. So for every director of a film, there are sometimes thousands of other jobs on a project, right? So if you think about, the Avengers, some of these like massive like blockbuster films, if you stick around for the credits, you'll see a lot of names.
Sometimes it feels like the credits are almost as long as the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right?
Yeah.
And a majority of those jobs are post-production. So you think of the sound in the film, you think of visual effects, editing. Mm-hmm. And so I think if you want to do this like entertainment thing, you want to be a director, actor, you want to be in front of the camera, I think if you kind of want to find a way in, you're going to have more opportunity behind the scenes.
Gotcha. So you had that opportunity. You were in Burbank, and obviously you were at the school, studying and growing and learning. Obviously it's you need a lighthouse. Who was your lighthouse? Did you have any connections that kind of got you to move you forward? And then once you got in there and you saw that there weren't a lot of people like you, what did you do? Because I know kind of a backstory about how you connected some people, but it's pretty crazy how some things came together for you. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So two names I'll mention. One is Dane Davis, sound designer. Another one is Carolyn Shropshire. And so I'll talk about both of them. So Dane Davis is a sound designer, Academy Award-winning sound designer, and he's probably most known for working on The Matrix.
Okay.
And
I haven't seen The Matrix.
Yeah, The Matrix is amazing. And I interned at his company called Dane Tracks, and I remember not long after I started, I was in his studio at his like post facility, and he actually let me like hold his Oscar that he won for The Matrix, and he had a piano. He had like an electronic like piano in his studio, and we started talking about composing because he knew I studied music in college, and it was just interesting to hear him talk about how he saw like so many parallels and so many similarities between sound design and music composition, and how there needed to be this like symbiotic relationship between the two, like they need to be married. Like when you think of like these action films, especially where sound plays a big role, you don't want music and sound design to like fight each other. They need to be like molded together.
Right.
And so I loved how he made that connection between music and sound design, because that's the connection that I personally made myself when I kind of transitioned from music into film and TV, doing like sound editing.
And for those of you that don't know, Daniel didn't just, transition. Like, he wasn't just doing this. Daniel went to Berklee College of Music in Boston, Massachusetts. For those of you that aren't aware, that's just, it might be a tier above everything. All schools are great, but Berklee has so many great musicians that come out of it. So Daniel comes from a background of knowing what he's talking about.
Yeah, I had a great experience there. And so Carolyn is amazing, an editor, probably most known for working on Love and Basketball. Also, most recently last year, The Old Guard on Netflix.
And we're excited because just a little sneak peek. Tara Lynn's going to be a guest on this season of
Yes.
Posting Black, so she's coming back. And I know, Dan, you could talk about it, but Tara Lynn was actually one of our first guests before Posting Black became anything. It was a blog. So I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead, but yeah, talk about Tara Lynn.
Yeah, so Tara Lynn is just a joy and just like a treasure, great spirit. Gave me confidence, because when I was able to, reach out and connect with her years ago, she was so gracious with her time. She was working on a film called Jumping the Broom back in the day. And she was at Sony working on that project. And, she like let me come into the edit bay and speak with her and gave me so much of her time and it was really inspiring and encouraging. So, I love Terry. It's funny, like a related story. A buddy of mine, this guy Paul Alderman, when I called to kind of work through some logistics, Paul picks up the phone, and I was like, Paul Alderman, and it's just like a small world. Like he was actually working with her at the time.
Paul was a classmate of yours at school.
Yeah,
and you called Tara Lynn to try to come in, and he's her assistant.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So people always talk about this. They say Hollywood is small. And for those people that, that move to LA, in particular, move to LA or want to work in the business, they're like, oh, it feels big. But once you're in it for a while, you just understand how every tiny piece connects. And it's literally, you are really a phone call away or a person away.
Yep.
That is amazing. So we have Tara Lynn going to be on the show this season. We have Paul. Paul's going to be on this show, and I look forward to talking to them. What else are you looking forward to? I mean, first off, give us a quick recap. How did you feel that the first season of our relaunch of Posting Black went last year? How did you feel that it was received?
I thought the reception was amazing. It was nice to transition from, written interviews to video. And I think just seeing all the different editors that we, got to interview have the opportunity to tell their story was so fun, because you have to remember, for a lot of these folks, like this is like their first interview, that they're doing, because no one else is reaching out to them to talk to them about post-production. Like everyone wants to talk to the director, to the writer, to the actors, to the producers, even to the composers. But like you'll see more interviews on YouTube about Hans Zimmer, but it's going to be hard to find an interview about Dane Davis. And that's cool. That's like, I think that's.
And Dane Davis is the one that takes what Hans Zimmer does and puts it all together and helps mold the entire film.
Yeah. Like they're like, composers and sound designers are, I think are at the same level, like it's not like one is greater than the other. And so, but we kind of like celebrate and glorify certain people at certain roles on a film or TV show. And I want projects like Posting Black to kind of like push back against that. It's like, like folks that work behind the scenes that traditionally, aren't really considered beyond like the, inner circles of Hollywood. Or the business, the entertainment business should get some time to shine, as they say, And so that's what I really liked about the first season. It was just like seeing people get the opportunity to kind of like flex a little bit and kind of like talk, but not just about themselves, about their craft,
their craft and what they're doing.
Like, these aren't just technicians pressing buttons, it's like it's art and science and craft and a lot of these folks, like, they're so passionate and dedicated to what they do, and it's just exciting to see them talk about it.
Great. Now, if there's one thing that you're looking forward to this upcoming season, before we cut here and let you go, what are you looking forward to this second season? Obviously, we're doing things differently. You and I are talking virtually. There's this little thing called coronavirus that happened, COVID, that has kept us from doing in person, and so much has changed. So what are you looking forward to as we go into this next season?
I think being able to interview people from, all over the world potentially. And so, I'm excited about that. I think a lot of folks have, naturally gotten used to seeing interviews and seeing a lot of online content in this kind of format. I call it the Zoom format. But yeah, I'm excited to see, more, I guess, conversation about how the pandemic and how COVID has impacted the industry at large and production, post-production specifically, and kind of where our guests kind of see the industry going. Because there's going to be there was a, AD, BC, right? And I think there's going to be pre-COVID and after COVID, there's going to be PC and AC, that's how we're going to have, that's kind of, I think, how we're going to reflect and look back on this past year. Really, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's been a year now.
It's been crazy.
And so, I'm excited to see what they think the future holds for the industry and how the pandemic has impacted their lives.
Well, that's a great way to segment and to kind of close it out. We know that you are a busy man, and so we thank you for being gracious with your time and joining us on our first inaugural interview for season 2 as we go into Post in Black. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank Daniel. If you want to follow us, please follow us at Made for More Entertainment. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we cannot wait for you to see this season. Until then, have a great week.
Thanks, guys.